I'm here with two great actors. I love all of your work. You know, Susan
Thanks.
Thank
Sarandon
you.
and Hugo. This movie was real trippy. I mean, it was like it
But
was a lot to
legal.
take in, legally trippy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess my first question is, I have to try to put myself in you guys' shoes for the first read. When y'all first got this script, I mean, was it something that you could get in one read, or did you have to like go through it? Because I mean, we've been talking about the movie for days since we saw it.
I was lucky because I'd read the book before the script, so when I knew they were writing the script, and then when Andy rang and said, you know, the script's coming your way tomorrow, I was just excited to see how they had told that, or retold that story, or restructured that story. You know.
Right.
So it was really, for me, it was genuinely exciting. But it was quite hard for me to. Seeing the film twice, it's very hard for me to watch the film as if I hadn't read it, as if I didn't know anything about it. That's difficult for me.
Yeah.
Well, that's why it was fun in Toronto when we had the first screening that we were there and people were laughing. Because we laughed. They had a little screening just for the cast in Chicago where they have their hub. And that was sweet because we got to see it just together and had dinner together and everything. But then when we went to Toronto, people were laughing even in places that we didn't laugh. We were laughing just kind of seeing Hugh do something, you know what I mean? And then to hear them appreciate it and then to have that kind of response, it was so moving, really.
Right. Hugo, let's talk about your character, because, you know, it's all this stuff about enlightenment and everything going on in the story, but your character stays pretty cruel and mean throughout.
Yeah.
What's up with
Well, it's interesting because there's 6 individual characters, but they have a common thread.
Right,
and
right.
and if you look at them chronologically, the earliest character is a man. He's a businessman. He's a philosopher. He's a writer who believes that there's a ladder of civilization, and that all the races are on different rungs of that ladder, and that's where they should stay, and God is at the top.
Right.
And that's the way the world should be. He's a rational man. He's a perfectly loving father, but he has a certain view of the world that means that other people have to remain downtrodden, and certain people are not as worthy as others. So you move from him through various configurations, and as the character goes through the ages, actually the desire to control others and to maintain order gets stronger and stronger and stronger. So the next character is someone who's decided to stay in Nazi Germany for his career, despite the fact that there's a fascist regime there, and he's also had to let go of his Jewish lover. I mean, this is a small character, but this is someone who's made a decision not to make a decision in life, or not to stand up against something.
Right.
Then you're moving to an assassin who's just doing the bidding of his master. Don't blame the gun, blame the don't blame the messenger, blame the boss, and eventually that character then ends up being a pure figure of fear, the voice saying no inside your head, the devil that's in your head saying you can't do that. So
you've worked with the Wachowskis before. Nobody's going to forget your line as Mr. Anderson from The Matrix. And I know this is a totally different movie, but is there any common threads in this movie that you could see coming from the Wachowskis from Matrix that you see in Cloud Atlas?
Yeah, there's to do with systems of control. Absolutely, that there are forces in the world in which we live throughout history that have wanted to maintain the status quo. People in history maintaining their positions and therefore enslaving others. In the Matrix, it's full of it. I mean, there's the whole systems within systems of control
and within that, there's
stabilization.
always people who don't want to know.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't want to know because that may ask them to change their behavior, or they need to be taken care of, or they want to feel safe, so they give over their free everything.
And then there are the other characters who decide to take that pill rather than the other one, who decide to do something because they feel it's right, even if it means their life is in danger. So a lot of the characters in Cloud Atlas, a lot of the central characters in Cloud Atlas have to make a decision to change their behaviors, or to try to expose something that's really happening.
They
endanger
know,
their
like,
lives.
Yeah, they endanger their lives because they have information that they know is not popular information. It's not conventional wisdom at the
In
time.
fact, they go to their deaths
Yeah.
believing that, and they are killed because of that the power that they have, the belief that they have. So it's that, I think both those films, all of their films, all of Lana and Eddie's, and the book, and probably Tom's work too, they're interested in those sort of structures and that sort of idea that you can make a difference in life.
But I think that the fluidity of gender and age and color and everything that's in this is very new.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And in some way, subliminally, you tap into this tribe mentality of how, no matter what the age, no matter if it's in the future or it's way in the past, that you'll be asked to make decisions that have to do with conscience and human dignity and slavery and all of these things. And where do you stand? And, you know, when you take away the wrappings of color and age and gender, you know, what is at the core of what it means to be a human being?
Right. Well, Susan Sarandon and Hugo, even no matter what age or what lifetime you guys in, we're gonna want to watch whatever you guys.
We're gonna
have
find
on.
each other.
We're gonna find
We're
it.
gonna find
We're gonna
each
watch
other.
your movies.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.
I love that.
That's a tough one.
It is, but you can handle it.
Clint Eastwood